Okay, so this is my first story time, and depending upon how I feel, it may be two. Who knows? But anyway, so this is a story time about the one and thank God only time I ever had to wrestle a gun out of the hands of a DL nigga, and why DL men are so dangerous. Alright, so boom. There's this dude in my neighborhood, right? Or there was this dude in my neighborhood. And every time I would see him, like we would see each other in passing or whatever, we would, look at each other. And I always felt like this energy because usually when you're around a guy who has an interest in you and you're in the community, you're going to feel that energy. I don't care what they do to try to hide it. They can try to mask it in any way they want. Even if they try to be hateful towards you, you are going to feel it. And so I will always just feel this presence, this energy every time we will walk past one another in the neighborhood. And eventually we ended up speaking to one another. I think I was trying to I was probably trying to buy some smoke. I ain't gonna lie. I think I was trying to buy some smoke and I asked him if he knew who had, and he didn't. But we ended up kind of just striking up this little light conversation, whatever. He was like, "But I be having from time to time. You should give me your number." And this way, when I get back on, I'll just text you and let you know I got it. So I'm like, cool, cool, cool. Take my number. He takes the number. Y'all, within maybe 10 minutes, I get a text. Yo, this is, I'm not going to say, we'll just say his name is. I don't know. We'll say his name is Graham. I get a text from Graham. And Graham, I don't like that name, y'all. We just not gonna give him no name. So anyway, I get a text from No Name. Okay, that's his name, No Name. I get a text from No Name. And No Name is like, what you on? Okay, what am I on? Alright, so I'm like, oh, I'm not on that right now. I'm just chilling or whatever. I was, about to walk back to the house and just, chill for the night or whatever. So he's like, you want some company? I'm like, see, here's the thing. You feel the energy, but when it happens, it's still kind of like, wait a minute, did that really happen? And so I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah, sure, I don't mind some company. We can hang out, you know what I'm saying? Talk, whatever. So he comes over. He comes up the back exit, the back entrance. No, did he? This is crazy. He comes up the back stairs, and I let him in, and we start kicking or whatever. He's like, how come every time you walk past me, you make eye contact with me or whatever? I'm like, well, you can only know that if you make an eye contact with me. So boom, we get to talking or whatever. Um, he tells me that there was a guy in my neighborhood, right, who was a big time drug dealer who ended up getting locked up. I don't know his name or whatever, but he tells me in the course of our conversation that at one point him and this individual had an experience together, right? A male, by the way. So he tells me that they had an experience together and it was cool or whatever, but he hadn't done that in a while. And all right, long story short, Dominique outside. So listen when I tell y'all, at this time, Dominique was outside. This is about maybe 2 years ago now that this happened. I was very much outside. So I mean, if a nigga was trying to slide or whatever, like, sneaky link, all of that, like, I ain't even gonna hold you. I'll still take a sneaky link. But anyway, we did whatever. He spends the night. Now, that next morning, mind you, I had a shift that had to go to work. And it was a big shift. It was a big gig. It was a wedding. I remember it was a big wedding. It was something I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement to work this event because it was celebrity related. But anyway, so I wake him up. I'm like, yeah, remember I was telling you, I gotta go to work in the morning or whatever. Like, I want to start getting ready for work or whatever. So he was like, oh, well, I'll just chill while you get ready for work. No. First of all, I'm I'm not risky to the point that I'm stupid. So I'm not finna be in a whole shower while it's a nigga in my house that while I kinda know you, I don't really know you enough to like feel like I can be in a shower, getting my face on and trying to get ready for work and you just in the house, milling around or whatever. So I'm like, nah, I'm really not comfortable with that. Like I like to shower and get ready for work, by myself or whatever the case may be. Like so he like, oh nah, you good or whatever, you could trust me or whatever. I said, well, this is not even about trust so much as it is about comfortability and what I'm comfortable with. So that's not something I'm comfortable with. Period. So yeah. He he starts I start I'm okay, he starts to take his time getting ready because I'm like, I need you to get your things together or whatever, get ready or whatever. So in the course of him telling me that or whatever the case may be, he's like, Dad, I can't stay while you at work and you know what I'm saying? When you get back from work, I'll be here, whatever. That, no. 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 That's enough. Could you imagine being a trans person who has to struggle and work hard for every dollar that you legally and legitimately get, and you have a nigga just laid up in your house with his feet kicked up on your furniture or whatever the case may be, relaxing the whole day, watching TV, eating food in your house? No. No. I have a rule about that. If I'm leaving my house for work, any man in my house gotta be leaving my house for work. And if you're not leaving my house for work, that's on you, but you are gonna be leaving my house. You're not gonna just be in my house all day and I'm, sweating it away at work trying to, you know what I'm saying, please maybe 500-600 guests at some event. But anyway, so I noticed that he was taking his time or whatever, right? And like I know he's a he's a hood nigga. He's what you would probably call a older YN. Cause you got them YNs that they could be a little bit older, late 20s, early 30s, and they still never really like grew up from any of that or whatever. If I'm being honest with you, I still got a little YN in me, but it's something where you gotta provoke me, and then you will see that come out or whatever. But anyway, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, all right, I don't like to be late for work or whatever, but I'm not trying to rush him. And then at some point, he just exploded, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. He literally just exploded. He pulls out a gun. Like okay, because I had left him in the bedroom getting his stuff together. I came in the living room and I was doing something. I can't even remember what I was doing, but when he came out, he had the gun in his hand on the side, and he was like, "If I gotta leave this early or whatever, you're gonna have to cash at me some money. I'm gonna need some money because I gotta get an Uber somewhere or a Lyft or whatever. But you're gonna have to cash at me $20. Cash at me 20." And see, this is what I mean when I say, and I know it's a lot of hate New York get, but this is what I mean when I say it's a difference coming from a place like New York. What the it, you're gonna have to shoot me in this house. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not about to open my phone up and cash app you $20, $30, or we not finna do none of that. Then he raises the gun. He raised the gun. I said, all right, let me snatch my phone real quick. My phone was sitting by the computer on the little computer table over here. And when I went to grab the phone, or when I acted like I was going to grab the phone, I just instantly grabbed his wrist and twisted it with everything I had. And we got to fighting. And the whole time, now mind you, I've never shot a gun in my life. I've never held a gun in my life. I don't know nothing about no guns. I don't deal with guns. I'm from New York. Like, we've been a gun restricted state since I was a kid. So, like, guns have never really been my thing. But anyway, we're fighting for this gun. And eventually I end up with the gun and he runs out of the house, I guess thinking I would shoot him, which, oh no, I was not. That was not a body I was finna catch. No, baby, no. But he ran out the house. And where he ran 2 blocks down, and he ran two, I don't want to say too much because I don't know who could be watching this. But anyway, he ran down the street, and then I get a phone call like in 5 minutes. It's him going off. He's flipping, he's spazzing, he's screaming, he's shouting, he's cursing, he's mad as a motherfucker. And he's like, give me my, all I want is my gun. All I want is my, I'm probably not supposed to say that word, right? Okay, well, all I want is my pew pew. All I want is my pew pew. So I'm still learning this YouTube stuff, y'all. Give me a break. But he's like, I still want my pew pew. I still want my pew pew, or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, now see, here's the thing. I wasn't generally afraid of him because me as a person, as a human being, I'm generally just not a fearful person of other human beings. I'm not. Generally speaking, I'm willing to defend myself in just about any situation that's reasonable and makes sense to me. So for me to link up with him to return him his gun, I did not feel was a risk. And I did that. I boldly did that. I said, where are you? He told me where he was. It was nearby. And I actually went out there and handed him what belonged to him. And I said to him, listen, I will never tell anyone about this. I will never mention your name. I will never, like, I'm grown. I'm not into, like, all of that extra neighborhood drama. Like, nobody even got to know that this happened or whatever the case may be. Except one person in my hood does know what happened because he ran to his house and he had to use his phone to call me. And I know that his friend was standing right there. He had to hear everything because he was yelling and screaming. And I know, you know what I'm saying. And then he was with him when I walked over there to return it to him. But I just said to him, I was like, listen, don't ever come near my spot. Like, don't come near my crib. Don't, if you see me in the street, don't say nothing to me. Don't look at me. I will not look at you. And we can just forget that this ever happened. And it kind of ended that way, but then, like, I'll say I was still, it was a period of time when I hadn't seen him. I don't know, he got low for a while or whatever, left the neighborhood a couple months, and then he came back around. And one day he stopped me and he was like, I just want to ask you how you doing. And I was like, oh, I'm good, I'm chilling, you all right? He was like, yeah, I'm cool. He was like, you might happen to have $5 or whatever the case may be. I know we had a bad whatever, but I could really use it or whatever. I really didn't have it though. Honestly, I didn't. So he didn't get that or whatever. But any other time after that he seen me, we would kind of look at each other, but turn our heads quick, like just kind of as an acknowledgement to the past or whatever happened, but nothing more. So, I mean, I don't feel threatened by him at all, and he certainly has no reason to be threatened by me. So, that's the end of my story about how I had to wrestle a pew pew out of the hands of DLYN. Oh, if you did like it, please do share, comment, all of that good stuff. Follow, whatever, whatever. Thank you. Bye bye.